Happy dear old Union Day. It is our annual online day of giving, a chance for you, our alumni, friends, and supporters to give to areas that you have a passion for, whether that's student scholarships, academic programs, athletics, or special projects. My name is Macy Nelson, and I am the Vice President for University Relations here at Union Commonwealth University. Over the course of the next little bit, we're going to be introducing you to a variety of people across our campus community, letting you get to know them a little bit better, and for them to explain how your generosity impacts them. We're going to get the day started here in the admissions visit room. I am joined by Connor Parton. Connor is a little bit of everything on campus.
Yeah, I'm a multiple trick pony.
So, student ambassador, student athlete, and he works in the campus store. I'm probably even leaving some things out if I'm being honest. So, Connor, why don't you just start off? What does a typical day look like for you as someone with all of these roles across campus?
Well, most of the time, classes, being a student athlete, classes come first, so I'll always go to class, and then in between the classes, I fit in my day, checking the admissions office, seeing if I have a tour or not, because I forget easily, and then also, before I have actual practice, I'll work in the bookstore until practice, to kill some time.
Okay, so why don't you tell us first where you're from, and then what drew you to Union, and what's kept you here in a time where everybody just kind of transfers around now, it's very common.
Yeah, it's a very common thing to see, especially in the athletic side of it. But I'm from Winsburg, Kentucky. I'm like 40 minutes down the road. A lot of people know it for the University of the Cumberlands, but I decided to come here mostly because I was able to give the opportunity to be able to run, which I've ran for 10 plus years, so being able to do that's a dream come true. But also being able to be academically set to where I still have a future in the field that I'm going into. Was just, it checked off the boxes for me, and I'm still here, still cruising with it.
Okay. How have, so we know we again mentioned that you're a student athlete, so how have scholarships and donor supports impacted you here at Union?
It has definitely taken a great deal off of me and my family both, just that stress, because I'm the oldest. I still have two other siblings that are, one going to college and the other one going to trade school, so being able to be financially set in a way that it's not strenuous on my family. They don't have to pick up any extra shifts and another job. It really has helped my family a lot.
You're a student ambassador, and maybe for those that won't know what that is, first tell me kind of the roles of a student ambassador and what it means to you to be one here on campus.
Well, the main role of a student ambassador is we want to be the first face that incoming freshmen or student athletes see. So it's kind of like a friendly face. You're not dealing with adults going around campus and all that. Kind of get someone that knows the ropes of college a little bit to be able to tour campus. But being an ambassador was definitely not on my checklist coming to college. I remember my orientation, seeing them dancing around doing cheers, and I'm like, I will never do that. And here I am 2 years later, and I'm doing the exact same things. But no, it's been a great joy to be able to see so many different people from different sports, different cities, different countries. It's just a really eye-opening experience that, some things are, the same with people. We have similarities, but also there's a lot of differences in the way of life that we come from.
Yeah, so you guys do all really the tours on campus for prospective students when they're here. You sit with them in this very visit room and chat with them. So you're not only introducing prospective students to Union, you're trying to ease the minds of parents too. How many tours do you give in a week?
If it's a really busy week, I can do up to 6 or 7 tours. It just kind of depends on availability. But I like to do tours. I like to talk.
What's your favorite stop on the tour?
Favorite stop? I'm an exercise science guy, so I love going to Ramsey. I love being able to show the labs, the cadaver, the one machine that we have, what's the game? The operation game. I compare it to operation and
the anatomage table.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it's just a really fun thing to show people. Like, we're a small university, but we still have tools to be able to give all of our students, especially our science-based ones.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So what has been so far, you're not done with this, no. We're keeping you for a little while longer, but what has been your favorite Union moment or memory that you've made?
We'll go to freshman year. when we did the Welcome Week, my UCE class actually won all of Welcome Week. So I mean, going into Welcome Week, you're like, who are all these people in the end of it? I have some new friends, and we're winning the entire thing and doing a dance to Hey Mickey at the very end of it, wearing all pink. So I mean, it's definitely a fun moment to look back to and laugh at, looking back at it.
And other people to laugh at you too. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I sent it to my family, and I still ain't heard the end of it, but that's okay.
Well, thank you for taking the time out to talk with us and give us an idea of your life and student life around campus. Now, if you are inspired to give to areas that support students like Connor, then your best bet today is to give to the Union Fund. The Union Fund is our unrestricted fund, so it allows us to serve what we call the greatest need, and the greatest need is always, and our first priority is always, student scholarships. So go to www.unionky.edu/dearold. Enter the amount that you would like to give today, and then just select Union Fund on the drop-down. No matter where you attend college, campus life often plays a really important decision in where you decide to go to college. So today we're joined by Director of Campus Life, Mackenzie Miller, and her GA, Allie Williams. Mackenzie, we're going to start with you a little bit. So how does student life shape the union experience here for students?
I think student life is probably the biggest part of the union experience here, because we just try to provide events for students to participate in, and it really gives all students, the opportunity to get involved, find their interests, and just really grow personally outside of the classroom.
Yeah. So, Allie, you literally last week graduated from Union, but we're not letting you go just yet. You decided to stick around. What made you want to stay and continue your education here at Union?
Well, there were many reasons why I wanted to stay. One being that Union offers a clinical psychology program, and there's not many schools in Kentucky that do. On top of that, I get to be a graduate assistant to CAB, which I have done CAB my whole undergrad life, so I already am used to it, and I love helping out with student life in general, so it was just perfect for me to stay.
Awesome. Well, we're glad you stuck around with us. I'd like for you both to answer this, because I'm sure you're going to have different answers. You guys do, I mean, just from my time as an employee at Union since I've come back, I mean, ice skating to hypnotists to comedians. I mean, you really try to bring in a variety, so like everybody has something that they're interested in and they want to attend. So what, both answer this for me, what are some of your favorite events? Mackenzie, you can start.
I would say my favorite event that we have done this year in my 1 year as CAB director was intramural basketball, just because, anybody hearing it would think it's an athletic event, but we had athletes, general students, really a large variety of all kinds of students coming to that event, whether it be participating or just watching. So I really like seeing that. And not only just students came, but faculty and staff. So, if there's a football player playing basketball and they look up and see their professor watching, I think that's cool, and they could talk about that class the next day. And I really like arts and crafts events too, because students can go to those and it just gives them something to do that they probably wouldn't do on their own just sitting in their room.
Yeah. Allie, what about you?
A few of my favorites is karaoke. Gotta love a good karaoke night. Everyone coming and singing. That's usually a big turn of events there. And then another one would probably be like goat yoga. We just had that a few weeks ago. Had a goat on my back. That was awesome. We have so many different events. I don't think I can pick just one, but those are a few of my favorites for sure.
Mackenzie, how does donor support help your area?
Well, the Union Fund is essentially the most important part of student life. Barville is a small town, and we know that. And we want to give all the students the opportunity to have something to do all the time. And I think the most important part of that is that all of our events are free and they are right on campus. So there's really no reason not to go to student events.
Sure. What's one thing people should know about student life at Union?
So, student life at Union is very important, I think, because that's what brings students together. So, on campus, if you're a general student or even an athletic student, what is there to do? Well, that's what campus or student life is for. We put on 3 or 4 events a week, and then the donor support helps us, be able to bring in the magician and the goat yoga and, have all these fun events for students to come together. And I think it's great. And that's one thing people should know about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of times too, we have a lot of student athletes here. So they're going to class and they're
Mm-hmm.
spending, 3 hours with their team. So this gives them, as you say, bringing them together, a possibility to make friends outside of just the ones they're spending time with,
Absolutely.
or their roommate.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay. Well, thank you both for all that you do for our students here at Union. It's incredibly important. Again, the Union Fund helps initiatives like this. It is our greatest need. You can make your gift today at www.unionky.edu/dearold. So we want to take a few minutes to talk about academics. Joining us now is Professor Chris Gibson and our new provost, Dr. Joshua Wilkie. Chris, we're going to start with you. What new or growing programs are students most excited about right now?
Sure. So as the Department of Kinesiology, we're excited to introduce the new sport management program that we expect to see in the spring. We're working on some of the other existing programs that we're making some revisions to. There have been 5 complete program revisions, and we think that they're going to really help the students both graduate in a timely manner, also apply to their field much better, and we're excited for the reception of that when we roll it out.
Okay. Dr. Wilkie, how are Union's academic offerings changing to meet the needs of our students?
Yeah, sure. So that's a great question. So I think the reality is that we have to find the places where the market and our mission align. And we have to be able to explain value proposition to our incoming students, which sounds a little bit like jargon, but if we are asking students in an increasingly uncertain environment to spend money on tuition and come to Union, what do we offer them? And so I think as provost, my goal is for us to be sure that we have a portfolio of academic programs that help students get where they want to go. We need to be preparing them in the small liberal arts tradition that we're known for, but we need to help them understand that they're preparing for jobs that don't exist yet. They are going to be doing jobs in 5 years that we can't think of right now. As artificial intelligence continues to permeate our society, as we change the way we think about things, as we change the way jobs work, as the world changes around us, maybe at a pace more rapid than we're comfortable with, we have to prepare students to meet that moment and to walk into the workplace to walk into society whenever they walk across the graduation stage, and be prepared to take on that world and have those soft skills that are so important, have those hard skills where they're necessary. One of the things that small liberal arts colleges do better than anyone else is to help students understand how to adapt to a changing world. We study, I come from a history background, and history is the study of change over time. So we get to help our students through the lens of history in our core classes understand change over time, understand how people have navigated that change. Our students take social sciences classes, they take logic classes, they take classes that help them understand wellness. And so if you look at our core, at the heart of it is the small liberal arts tradition, which is so important, and I think more relevant now than it ever has been. And so what we have to do is we have to wrap majors and academic programs around that liberal arts tradition that helps students to meet the moment where we're at in society right now.
Love that. I love that. Chris, what do you think sets union students apart kind of in your field, in your area?
Oh, sure. I think that one's easy. I think it's our connection with the community. I think it's our internships that we're able to provide specialized attention to. I know my students very well. My instructors in the field know their students very well. We're able to place them in with community partners that we think are really going to create their career and excel their opportunities forward. I have students that get offers right out of the internship that they're involved in. And so we're very proud of those connections. I look forward to growing those connections even more as we roll out new programs and as we look to the future.
Yeah, I think that's something, we've heard it from nursing professors. We hear it from our professors in education on when it's graduation time. Employers in the area are calling,
Sure.
To say, how many students do you have? Because they know that we prepare them well.
Yeah.
So.
When I give my recommendations, I think that the community partners, I think they respect what Union has to offer. I think they understand that we produce a high quality student, and I'm thrilled to be part of it.
Yeah, that's something to be proud of. Dr. Wilkie, how does giving, with today being Dear Old Union Day, how does that help Union invest in academics, whether that's professional development or new technology? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Sure. So the reality is that as costs increase for everyone and college becomes more expensive, giving is such an important part of that because it's an investment in the future of someone you don't know.
Yeah.
When I was an undergraduate, I was the recipient of what I thought at the time was a very generous endowed scholarship. And I know I also received some other scholarship funds that came from the university's annual fund where I was a student. And at the time, I was a non-traditional student. I was 31, so maybe I was a little more aware than the average college-age student. But understanding that someone else's generosity, someone who doesn't know me, made an impact on my life, that was so meaningful to me. And it wasn't lost on me that it was an investment in my future. I'm sitting here today because of the investment that someone I don't know made in the university I attended, maybe even years before I was there. And so I think that it's a chance to do good in the world. It's easy to give money to a specific cause. Sometimes you'll see on social media, someone's raising money for a pet that needs surgery or something. So you give money and here's this very specific thing, and that's heartwarming and everything. But I think there's some beauty and joy in giving to a cause that you believe in, maybe not even knowing specifically what that's going to be used for, but understanding the trust and stewardship of the institution to do the very best with that money. And so, I give to the annual fund because I think it's an incredibly important thing to do. I believe in it. I have been the recipient of that generosity from other people. And I think it's just important for us to all pay it forward and invest in these young folks. And by investing in the university, you're investing in the future of the folks that we graduate and send out into the world. The folks that Chris was just talking about that, our nursing students who graduate and go out into the world, people are investing in our community writ large, right, by investing in Union. And that's why I think it's important.
Perfect. Well, we talked about students, preparing students as well as we've just mentioned, nursing. So this is a perfect segue for what we've got coming up next. We'll be sitting down with a 2021 alum of the Edna Jenkins Mann School of Nursing as she talks about what she is doing now and how Union prepared her. At the heart of Union Commonwealth University stands Conway Bowman Chapel, a symbol of faith and tradition. but time and weather have taken their toll on the bell tower. This summer, we begin the important work of restoring the tower, preserving its legacy for future Bulldogs. With early support already coming in, we invite you to join us. Watch the progress through social media, share the journey, and help us ring in the next chapter. Give today and be part of this historic moment. We are here with Nikki Abner. Nikki is a 2021 graduate of Union Commonwealth University, but particularly the Edna Jenkins Mann School of Nursing. That is a program that continues to grow on campus. So talk to us a little bit about, since you've left Union, where are you now? What does your day-to-day look like in the nursing field?
So since leaving nursing, I'm actually at St. Joseph London. I work on med-surg. I absolutely love it. Nursing is my passion, my calling, every bit of it. I'm about to finish my master's degree in healthcare policy and leadership, so I'm super excited about that. And then I plan on staying bedside for quite a while. I don't plan on leaving for a long time. So this is just my fallback, and I'll be ready when that comes. But right now, I'm right where I need to be.
Now, you recently spoke at our pinning ceremony for our 2025 class of graduates from the nursing program. And your journey as a nursing student at Union was a little bit, we'll say it wasn't traditional.
It was not. It absolutely
a wife,
was not.
a mom, So how did Union prepare you for your career in nursing?
So Union was a great just staple in my life. I bounced around to different colleges, didn't really fit in anywhere because I was a wife and a mom, all the different things. And then Union, when I walked through the doors and there was 30 people in that class on the first day, it was a breath of relief because I felt so secure and stable, like this was where I was supposed to be. And then just the professors at Ramsey and in the nursing building, they were great for me. I really enjoyed being around them. Coming back and being able to speak at Pinning was very uplifting. It made me feel good. I got close with a couple of their nursing students that were doing their practicum at St. Joseph, and I just felt very honored to be able to come back and give back to the community in that way.
What stands out to you the most about your time in our nursing program?
How strict it is.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's
tough.
hardcore. It does not come and ease and breeze by. Like the professor that spoke at the pinning ceremony, he said, "This is grit. AI can't cover that up." And I fully and 110% would back that, because this is not something that someone can just fly into. You have to be able to be there, be present, have that caring touch, that conversation with that person that's going to really change your life and their life ultimately.
So, we are in a time where, especially here in Kentucky, we're facing a nursing shortage. Here in Knox County, in our region, there's a shortage of nurses and care. So for someone, whether it's a current Bulldog or someone watching this that's thinking about a career in nursing, what advice do you have for them?
Come on. This is where you need to be. This BS in nursing program, it hovers above many programs within the area. I see different nursing students come in and out of the hospital daily, and there are just none that can hold a light to nursing students from Union. So I think you should come on. It would be huge.
Okay. Well, Nikki, thank you for talking to us. Her story is a testament to the type of nursing students that come out of the Edna Jenkins Mann School of Nursing, and it's the reason why it's one of the top programs now here at Union. So if this is an area you would like to support today, go to www.unionky.edu/dearold, and after entering the donation amount, select Other, and then in the special instructions box, all you gotta do is type in nursing. So if you're a fan of college sports, specifically college basketball, you've probably seen Jay Billis's 94 feet. We're putting a different twist on it today. So let's do 50 yards with our new assistant football coach, Coach David Cunningham, and get to know him a little bit better. Coach, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do this. All right, so where's home? Where are you from originally?
Campbellsville.
Campbellsville, okay. Who is your favorite football team?
I've been a Louisville Cardinal fan most of my life. I grew up a Rams fan, and now I'm kind of just whoever. If I know somebody that plays or coaches for a team, I kind of follow them in terms of the NFL.
Okay. First job?
Campbellsville.
Campbellsville.
Which makes sense,
Okay.
I guess.
Who has inspired you most as a coach throughout your career?
Well, my father was the college basketball coach at Campbellsville for 25 years, so certainly my dad, Lou Cunningham. But as far as football, probably Howard Schnellenberger was a guy I've always admired, and the unfortunate late Howard Schnellenberger guy I admired and kind of followed throughout my career.
Okay. One word to describe your coaching style.
Consistent. Just try to always be the same and not get too high or too low, and treat people well no matter what. Just work the same whether you win or lose, whether it's things are going good or bad. You just got to kind of stay the course and do the things you've been doing.
I love that. So far in your coaching career, what would you say favorite moment or biggest accomplishment?
Probably Minnesota State. We played for 2 national championships at the Division II level, and that was a lot of fun. But probably my favorite season of all was in Mississippi Valley in 2012. We went 5-6, which isn't what people would normally call a great season, but we were 5-4 in the SWAC, and that's a really tough job in a tough league, and that was something I'm very proud of as well.
All right, last question for you. We've got you here at Union. Spring game is under your belt there. What are you most excited about for Union football?
I think just it seemed that when I played against Union back when I was at Kentucky Wesleyan, Union was always tough and physical and a good football program, and they've kind of had some ups and downs. I think the last 2 years has seen definitely some steps in the right direction, and I'm just excited about continuing that trend. And it's just a good fresh start for me, and working with some guys I like and trust and know, and familiar with the school I'm familiar with too. Just having grown up, I watched basketball games right over there in Robinson. Years ago when I was little, so I know the area fairly well, know the school, and just excited about next season.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to have you on board here at Union. Next up, we're going to stick with our football staff. We're going to be chatting with new head coach Boston Bryant, as well as his 2 assistants, Jeremiah McKibben and Brandon Day. So stay tuned. So we just heard from new coach David Cunningham. Let's talk to some familiar faces with the football program. Some may be in new roles, but they've been here for a little bit. So let's start with new head coach Boston Bryant. Boston, what is the vision for rebuilding the football program?
So our vision, is really to take it to the next level here. In the past, since we've been here, we've kind of took the next step, to get to that middle of the pack in the conference. And we're really trying to take it to that high level, to compete with the upper echelon of our conference. And that starts for us with the individual guys that we're bringing in, really good recruiting class, and that all starts with grades, film, type of people they are. So we're really excited about the group that we have on campus right now. We can add to it. We think that'll really start to, build us up on that next step that we're trying to reach.
For sure. Coach Day, he talked a little bit about the type of players you guys have or maybe looking for. Expand on that a little bit. What kind of student athletes are you looking to recruit? What kind of student fits the model for Union football?
Yeah, for us, we're definitely looking for a student athlete. Student comes first. Get some kids in here that can have good grades, be a part of the culture we're trying to build, all the different things that we look for in a student. They can produce on the field, in the classroom, on campus, and then can, after they're done, be stewards of the community and the college itself when they're done and gone.
Okay. We'll kind of, you guys may all have an answer to this, so feel free to all chime in here. How does community and alumni support play into Union football?
Yeah, I think, for me and, Coach Day, we're from this community. We're 13th region with Coach Day, Harlan City, me, myself, Whitley County. So this community, it means a lot to us because it's home. And the community involvement is a huge part because the atmosphere that we're able to create on game days, if we have the community supporting us, it's unmatched because small college football, that's one of the advantages. You get these home games, and the more crowd support, the better chance you have to win the games. And then with alumni as well, those men are the ones that are walking billboards for our programs. Those successful ones, they're the example that we can show our guys, hey, if you trust in this process, this is what Union has done for these men, and this is what we can do for you. So, the alumni and the community for us is huge.
Okay. You guys have anything to add to that? Answer that one pretty well. Coach Campbell, bounce to you. What are biggest needs or priorities for Union football right now?
Yeah, so honestly, first would definitely be community involvement, just getting the people back in from around this area. Like Coach Ball said, the more people that come to a game, the better chance you got of winning it. And then secondly is just getting the alumni back and making a sincere investment, right? And that's not just monetary, it's time, really pouring back into school, getting here on campus, seeing the process, and kind of going through it as a whole, as a union, right? So.
Okay, great. Boston, last question for you. How can donors be a part of your story? We can call it a comeback story. We can call it, rebuilding, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. But, you guys are going to be entering, your first season leading the program. So how can they support that?
Yeah, I think my biggest piece of advice would just be, to come on campus and kind of see, what they think that can improve with our program. For us, our biggest, probably need, financially that can help us is our weight room. Coach McKibben, he does a tremendous job in our strength and conditioning program. But, there's a lot of stuff we can improve in there. And that's not just our team, that's all the teams on campus. Because the weight room, that's that common ground where a lot of teams can separate themselves. So I think that is a huge part that can kind of take us to the next level. But, any contribution to our program helps. We're a small school down in Eastern Kentucky. So, any financial improvement is going to help us, whether it be equipment on the field or, that the players wear. But, any chance, and like Coach said, it don't have to be monetary. It can be time. It can be whatever. We're just trying to get people back on campus and show them what this place is all about.
All right, well, guys, thank you for taking time out to talk with me today. Up next, we'll be chatting with Vice President of Athletics, Clay Butler, and a familiar face, but in a new role here at Union, Bart Osborne. Joining us now is Vice President of Athletics, Clay Butler, and Associate Athletic Director of Fundraising, a very familiar face to many of you as well, Bart Osborne. Clay, we're going to start with you because between the two of you, we have nearly 40 years of athletic experience, not just at any university, but at Union, which I think is very important. So, what has kept you here? What makes Union special to you?
I think the thing that makes Union so special is the family atmosphere, the family dynamic. It still gives us to be able to compete on a large scale, but a small school where Coaches know more about our players, their personal lives. The professors know about their personal lives, and it helps to, just create that family atmosphere. And that's why, now a lot of times our students, they want to come back, after they graduate, we're staying involved in their lives. They're telling us when they're getting married, when they're having kids, major milestones that have happened in their lives. And I think that's one of the things that makes Union so special is you get to help not just for now, but to help make better young men and young women that are going to, be more successful in life and be there for those successes.
Sure. Bart, you were here for many years.
18 years.
18 years to be exact. Okay. As our baseball coach, left for a little bit. So what brought you back to Union and what excites you about this new role?
Well, I think with the leadership with Dr. Washington really excited me. The vision he has for the school, and like Clay already touched on, the family atmosphere and the energy he's brought back to campus. And when I met with him, I really wanted to be a part and try to help him get his goals.
Well, we're glad you're back. I'd like for you maybe to both answer this because given your combined experience, you may have different responses. What, or I guess why does athletics matter in the life of a university?
I think athletics twofold. One is it creates an atmosphere on campus, for people coming out to whatever sporting event it is. I think that creates an atmosphere. It helps to bring students from different cultures to one place to join together to become a team. We've got international students, domestic students that they have to collaborate, come together and create a team. I think that's one. But the biggest thing I think too is athletics is, and for us, is able to use it as a life learning. How for student athletes to deal with adversity. Adversity is going to hit them in their competition, but it's going to hit them in life. So we can be here to help shape them, mold them. To get them to understand, like, hey, when life hits you, fight back. Don't just don't lay dead. Fight back.
Yeah.
I think athletics helps bring community together, not only on campus but our surrounding area, our mountain area, the 606 area. So, that's one thing I'm going to try to do is try to use our athletics to bring local people, our community, to campus and enjoy, a good athletic department, good teams, good winning teams.
I love that. Clay, how does donor support help Union athletics compete?
Donor support really helps us give the students the experience. We want our students to, even though we're a small NAI school, we want our students to feel like they're at a Division I, Power 5. And with that support, that's what helps us to be able to give that experience. And then I think the other thing too is I think donor support is huge financially, but it's also huge by having those people that are willing to come back onto campus and to help our students, whether it be with job interviews or, helping them with their career goals that they're looking for. So it all kind of combines, so we want to get people back involved financially, but we also want to get them back involved with them being on campus.
Coach Oz, last question for you here. You've been back a short amount of time, but you've really hit the ground running. So what's one initiative or project that you're really fired up about?
Well, one thing is that we're going to try, one project that I've started is I'm going to try to get as many local teams on our campus and use our facilities. We're going to have a brand new basketball floor. The football turf is new. We've got lights on the softball field. Our baseball field's always been fantastic. So, we're going to try to get soccer on football, and get everybody locally to come back. The second thing is, and Clay already touched on this, we're really going to try to do a really good job of getting our alumni back on campus. Homecoming, it's going to be we want everybody to come back for homecoming, but we also want them to be involved in the campus with not only talking to teams, but maybe even talking to classes. And we got some great leaders that have graduated from Union. We need to bring them back and let them be a part of classes and help these young people when they get out of school, the direction they need to go in.
The 1879 Club, that's a new initiative. Coaches are working hard to kind of roll that out today. So they have been texting alums of their program, asking for a one-time gift today of $18.79. That's the year Union was founded. So there is special meaning behind that. So if you would like to give to athletics to kind of fuel them up for next season, you can do that at www.unionky.edu/1879.
My goal is 1% each day. That's what I tell myself. because every day you have the chance to get better as a person. You either grow or you don't. You know, I don't believe that everybody just stays the same every day. I wanted to get into a place with more opportunity, and I thought this would be the place for me. Hello, my name is Tice Hall. I'm a sophomore here at Union. I'm a business management major, and I also play football here at Union as well. Seeing my mother go to college whenever I was younger, she used to take me and my sister to class with her, and just seeing her do that just kind of paved the way for me. So I was actually about to commit to another college, and my recruitment was actually over. Like, I had my final 3, and coach texted me on Twitter, was like, "Hey, I think you're a great kid. I think you would be great for the program. Could you send me your highlights, this, that?" So I sent him my highlights, and we talked on the phone for about an hour, and I felt like we had an instant connection. I went on a visit to Union, and during my visit, the first thing I thought to myself was opportunity. And between the other schools and Union, what made Union feel a little bit more at home for me is like the open arms. I felt like I was more welcomed here. I felt like my name would mean something at Union. So initially, I thought there's no way I could go to Union. Whenever they showed me my package deal, I said, I can't afford this because I come from a one-income household. I don't have both parents, so it's just me and my mother. I was like, well, I don't know about this, but Union makes it very affordable. And that's another reason I'm so involved on campus as well, because when you're involved on campus and you're doing more activities, you have the chance to make more money for yourself and be a part of the community. So I think that's a win-win. My first semester here, I was kind of a snail in a shell. I was moving a little slow. I was kind of scared of everybody, and I was kind of saying to myself, and you're heard here, like your voice matters. And I learned this is I lost both sets of my keys my freshman year here at Union. And whenever I lost both sets of keys, I was like, you know what, just let me get in the dorm, you know, where's my ID? Lost my student ID. So at this point, I lost everything. I lost my wallet, my 2 sets of keys. So I go to the director of housing and I tell her, like, hey, I'm done. You know, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm just gonna go back to Louisville. I have a lot going on right now. And we sat there for about 2 hours and just had a heart-to-heart conversation about life. And that's when I realized, like, you know, nobody will understand you unless they, you know, you have to let them know. And that really opened a new door for me. After getting involved with just one club, I instantly realized clubs help tremendously. If you become involved at Union, it will become one of the best experiences you can ask for out of college. It helps you mature, it helps you have a sense of responsibility, and it helps you have a sense of leadership as well. With me being an RA, with me being an ambassador, with me being a peer mentor, all of those things, it helps me have leadership, responsibility, and there's kids that listen to me. During my peer mentor interview, they asked me a question. They said, so what if you have football practice the same time as one of your interviews with one of your kids? And that was a unique question to me because it was a no-brainer. I'm gonna be late to practice because that interview, a kid might have been looking forward to that interview for the past 3 days, like, hey, nobody will listen to me, my peer mentor will, you know? So I think things like that help me become a better man for myself and a better man for the future. I think if you go to a lot of these other schools, you're gonna go, but you're just gonna be another number, you know? You're just gonna be there for the head count. They're just using you for a statistic. If you come to Union, you will become something. That right there itself is a unique thing because at a lot of colleges, you can do a lot of things, but I don't know too many colleges where you can be a resident assistant, a peer mentor, an ambassador, play 2 different sports and still have time to feel like home, you know? And it really does feel like home, a home away from home. Because with me being from Louisville, it's a lot of big buildings, a lot of infrastructure, a lot of nice things, and I love Louisville. But this makes me see a different view, a view I didn't get to see in a city, a view away from a city that I needed, you know? A perception of Kentucky I didn't know I could have. And I think that is what makes Union different.
We finish up our athletic segment with our men's basketball coaching staff. I'm joined here with head coach Rodney Haddix and assistant coach Jay Falls. Rodney, we're going to start with you. What drew you to make Union your a stop on your career and kind of your home for right now?
Well, it'd be the people. Everybody here on campus was very welcoming. I just felt at home, and it was the people, it was the community, the Union community, the Barberville community, the Knox community. Everybody just made me feel at home and at peace with this decision.
Right. Jay, we'll switch over to you now. You were a player here, seen a lot of success, and now you've joined the coaching staff. What are your goals for the team and the program?
My goals for the team and the program are to be competitive nationally. I feel like in our time here, we dominated the conference, but national tournament was kind of our Achilles heel. So everybody wants to chase the red banner, and now we just got to put it to action.
Okay. Coach Haddix, you guys have kind of quickly, you and your beautiful little family have ingrained yourself into the community here. You kind of mentioned that before, but how have you felt welcome, not just on campus, but beyond?
I mean, like I said, this is a special place, and my family has been welcomed with open arms. And I think this is a place where you should send your kids. People need to come back and visit. This is just an amazing atmosphere, and it's such a small, quaint place, but it's a special place, and it's starting to mean a lot to me and my family. You see my girls running around campus. My wife is on campus. We're mingled and intertwined, and May Day and all those things. So I can't talk enough about how special this place is, and it means the world to me.
So you've got your first season finished here.
Yeah.
You spent. We had a very early conversation when you started here. You're like, I want to know our alumni. I want to know our donors and who's been a part of this program. So on a day like today, where they're giving back on Dear Old Union Day, I guess why is that important to kind of get support behind your program?
Well, it's just important because these players that are coming up will soon one day be in those positions, and we just want the best things for them. We want them to have the opportunity to compete, like we said, nationally, and it takes resources, and it takes a lot of things. It takes a lot of people involved behind the curtain that you don't see. So we want our guys to have every opportunity they can to be successful and to be competitive, and it takes help. It takes a lot of help. So.
Okay. Jay, how would you describe the student athletes currently on the team and even those that you're recruiting for next season? What are you looking for?
We are looking for guys that can come in and are high character, high quality players, just good people that are just happen to be good at basketball.
Okay. Well, thank you both for taking the time today to talk with us and let us get to know you all a little bit better. We know that so many alums of Union were student athletes. So today, if you would like to give back to the program that you were a part of, it's the day to do it. Now, we don't just rely on donor support here at Union. Grants play a big role in funding. So up next, we're going to talk a little bit about grants and prospects. Well, a lot of what we've been talking about today is how donor support impacts things around Union, and we wanted to take some time to sit down with two very important people here in the President's office and discuss just grants and momentum and just some great initiatives going through this office under Dr. Washington. So joining me now is Megan Chestnut, who is Special Advisor to the President, as well as Sarah Wallstead, our Grants and Prospect Development Specialist. We like long titles around here. Okay, so Sarah, I'm going to start with you. You joined our team a little bit earlier this year. So tell me a little bit about, we know with Dr. Washington's momentum. There's a lot of things that are moving, as said, through this office. Since joining our union family, what has been the most exciting project or initiative that you've been a part of?
I think seeing Dr. Washington's vision for the school and how he wants to move forward has been really exciting. Seeing the momentum that's built here on campus through the dorm refresh project and just reimagining student spaces has been really fun to see. It feels like it's bringing a lot of the joy back to students on campus. But for me, particularly being from this community, seeing how he wants to bring the community along is really what has been special about being here and being part of this project, or part of the staff, part of this whole movement that we have going forward. And I'm just really excited about being here and seeing how Union is going to go from being a school in one community to being really a pillar of education for our region.
Yeah. So off of, I guess, community and region and thinking about that, Megan, my next question is for you. With that renewed emphasis in both of those areas, how do you think these relationships help move our university, our institution forward?
So DJ, for those of you all that have not got to know DJ, he moves at lightning speed, and he is everywhere in the community. And so as a local girl and a Union graduate, I have loved seeing that. So he's at all the local churches, he's at all the local functions. It's just really incredible to see that. But the relationship side of what he is doing, that is what is truly going to move this institution forward. So he takes every conversation that you have with him to heart.
He remembers it.
He remembers it, which is not good for us all the time, right? But yeah, so the fact that he can build these relationships, make these connections, it makes really what we do, I think, very, very easy. I mean, I think our jobs are easy just because of what he is able to do in the community.
I love that. That's so true. Sarah, we know. Let's talk a little bit about grants. We know that grants often help get important projects and initiatives off the ground. But can you talk about how community support and donor investments helps take those grant-funded projects and, I guess, takes them to the next level, so to speak?
Yeah, I think what's great is that when we apply for a grant or when we get a grant, an outside funder is saying, we believe in this project's potential. So we have looked at it and said, this is what we want to do and to move forward. We know that this will help our campus. And then we have that outside, either the private foundation or the federal government saying, we also see potential in this. But what grants are really looking for is that continued support. And so that's where the community really comes in, and individual donors and local businesses really walk along beside us and keep that potential going. So the grant is really a spark, and it helps us to lay the foundation for a project. But without individual donors, without local businesses, we aren't able to sustain and continue to grow the vision that a grant can start. And so that's why we need you guys to partner with us to help us to continue to make these spaces for students, to renew campus, and to reimagine what Union is and how we can move forward in the future.
Megan, so Sarah's touched on that a little bit, but even outside of donor support, how can people get involved or support these initiatives and some of the things we're going to be announcing in the coming months?
Yeah, so piggybacking off of what Sarah just said, the donor support is incredible. Individuals out there telling our story is our biggest thing. So please share your dear old Union story. Share about your time that you had here on campus and all of those good memories. As you hear about exciting things that are happening on campus, share it with someone who maybe doesn't know anything about us and what we're doing. So the storytelling side of it is what is most important for us, because we want to share all the good works that are truly happening here on campus. touching off of that a little bit, it's been incredible to see, and this is going back to DJ's vision, but it's been incredible to see the support that we have, and that goes from even our biggest stakeholders. So elected officials in the community, mayor, judge executives, state representatives, like seeing the support that we have is incredible. But what to do as far as getting involved, obviously that financial support, we are very much appreciative of that, but also come and visit us. Come to homecoming, come to our UCU Street Eats. It's a food truck series that we have. And then also, as we know, very exciting, we have inauguration coming up. So come and join us for inauguration and see what all is changing and how exciting it is here on campus. There's a lot of momentum, and truly without you all, we don't have Union. So come and visit.
And we're throwing that all into one weekend because we want to punish ourselves, I think, but no. Inauguration, homecoming, family day, we're all just throwing it together in a one big party weekend. That's September 19th and 20th.
Yes.
So save that date. Well, thank you both for, I guess, talking more about kind of the back end side, some of the things that people may not understand from that side of things, and like say, and for all you do. So up next, we're going to chat with student supports and how those free services are made possible by donors like you. At the heart of Union Commonwealth University stands Conway Bowman Chapel, a symbol of faith and tradition. But time and weather have taken their toll on the bell tower. This summer, we begin the important work of restoring the tower, preserving its legacy for future Bulldogs. With early support already coming in, we invite you to join us. Watch the progress through social media, share the journey, and help us ring in the next chapter. Give today and be part of this historic moment. Here with me now is Stephanie Smith, our Dean of Students, and Tori Doyle, who is our Director of Housing. You both really, I don't think your titles explain your roles on campus. And so, you assist with basically student services across campus. So Tori, I want to start with you. What's it like being part of a team that helps students thrive in the classroom? And if you want to talk about some of the services, from resume writing to tutoring, you guys offer all of that for free to our students.
Yes, so for student support services, we are a federally funded grant. So our office does offer tutoring, disability services, career services. Our jobs are just so rewarding. We get to see them come in as freshmen that are so excited for their next journey, but they're so nervous and they're looking for that space to belong, and we get to create that space for them. So we see them the sophomore year, they're a little bit more confident, and then their junior and senior year, they're thriving, they're everywhere all at once. And then when they walk across this stage and they're ready for life, we just...
Ultimate reward, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we accomplished it. They're kind of like your kids too. I guess they become that.
Absolutely.
Steph, how does residence life and student support services shape the student experience? Because we've been talking a lot about the student experience today.
Well, residence life and student support services both create a environment for our students to where they can, come and have the full college experience. In the dormitories, obviously they have a lot of activities that they do, or they create. That's where they create their relationships, their friendships, and then obviously in student support services, which Tori touched on, they can also, thrive academically because of the tutoring services or because of the career services and things like that.
Okay, Tori, what is and I'm sure you've seen a lot. So what's a challenge or success that you're really proud of?
I was a first generation college student, and I had a great support system at home. They just didn't necessarily know how to support me because they weren't in my shoes as a first time college student. So I'm super proud of the fact that I get to provide that support for our students. And the challenge is and always will be finding the missing puzzle piece to the next class. okay, what does this class need? What does this class need? But it's super rewarding. I think me and Stephanie have done a great job at finding those missing pieces and providing them for our students.
Yeah, and that's still such a large, you touched on first generation, being a first generation student, that's still such a large part of our current identity now.
Yes.
So this next question I'd like for you both to answer, because it may vary. Why is it important for our institution to prioritize student support services?
Well, I think our university needs to prioritize student support services because it creates that positive experience for our students. For example, student services, things like academic advising, that's where our students get their schedules and it helps them stay on track for graduation. The career office helps our students to find internships. It helps our students to put resumes together. All those things that they need once they leave college, they're ready to go out and to, be adults in the real world. Also, our counseling services helps promote or helps our students with, things with mental health awareness. It helps with emotionally support them, whether they're having, bad days or they're stressed out. So, and then the tutoring center obviously provides individual attention, and it helps our students build confidence in the classroom.
Tori, do you have anything different to add to that?
Yeah, what Stephanie said, but if students feel like they belong, they're going to be confident in what they do, and they'll stay and they'll thrive. So especially from residents' life perspective, if they feel at home, if they feel like they're gaining the life skills that they need to stay and be independent, and they're participating in our activities and they're utilizing the support services, they're gonna sail through college with a breeze, and they'll stay and just be great students.
That's right.
Stephanie, as Tori mentioned, a lot of the programming that you do is free, but it's federally funded. So how does donor support impact students or student support services?
Well, as far as the federally funded, that's more on the academic side with the student support services. But now we go to the student life side, and those donors are very important to us because we have to have those. Because what we're trying to do is create an atmosphere for students that's outside the classroom. We're trying to help them develop leadership skills. So without donors, we would not have clubs and organizations like SGA, things like that help us to create a better atmosphere on campus. So we need that. We need to be able to host events so our students have something to do outside the classroom. Obviously, we all want our students to thrive inside the classroom, but we all know it's about that college experience. And, they want nice dorms. They want nice facilities. They want places where they can hang out and just get to know each other and develop relationships. So those donations are huge to us.
For sure. Well, speaking of dorms, Tori, as our Director of Housing, let's touch a little bit on our Dorm Refresh initiative. If you've recently received our Alumni Magazine, we highlighted that project in the Alumni Magazine several times over a course of a few pages. But let's talk about that now and kind of where we are. We're proud to say that we've already completed like one big task, and that is upgrading our laundry facilities and all of the residence halls with, top of the line. They're super cool. If a washer and dryer could be cool, they're cool. But what other needs do you see in the dorms?
Right, so the maintenance team and myself all year have done dorm walkthroughs, and I've gotten feedback from students. The washers and dryers, by the way, were titled a game changer.
The bomb.
The bomb. Okay.
Yes. But really we are looking at our bathrooms, updating the fixtures, the partitions, all of that stuff. That would be huge for our students, especially in the residential halls that are community style. That would be great. And then our lounge spaces, so updating the furniture in there, maybe putting some spaces where students can sit, study, or also sit and socialize. That would be huge. And then upgrading dorm furniture.
Sure. But that's That's always needed as we grow, but also things just, sometimes break and we've got to upgrade.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you both for not only talking with me today, but just all that you do. You guys are everywhere. You do so much for our students. If you would like to learn more or support the Dorm Refresh Project, you can do so by visiting www.unionky.edu/dormrefresh.
I'm Ella Coffey here at Union Commonwealth University, and I'm playing basketball and I study biology. So let's take a tour of my dorm. Okay, so first you walk in and you have the bright lights and plenty of space. You have a good little open floor plan because we put our beds against this wall right next to one another. You have plenty of wall space for all of our fun little decorations, as you can see, all your pictures of your friends and family. And if you want to come with me over here, we have a shelf or a cabinet with two sides so you can share with your roommate, and you put both your clothes on each side. And you have plenty of top space to put your snacks, your TVs, anything fun like that. And then you have your desks where I like to do my homework and I like to study for my exam that I literally had this morning. And you have plenty of drawer space and counter space, kinda. And then you have your open areas for some more fridge and desk, and then you get to the window over here, and we have a great view of the pond, where you can see plenty of geese and squirrels just having a fun little time. We also have plenty of under the bed space to kind of keep your storage and some clothes, and I like to keep my snacks under there. So, yeah, that's pretty much my dorm. I hope you enjoyed. Welcome to Union.
So we finished our broadcast out with our leader of Union Commonwealth University, Dr. DJ Washington. DJ, we're about a year in, which is crazy to believe. You started with us about a year ago as interim president. January of this year, the board voted to remove that title and make you president. So there's been a lot the last year. Let's talk about it a little bit. Challenges, wins, favorite memories, moments.
Yeah, a lot of all the above. So, challenges. I think the great thing is that there were a lot of surprises in the beginning, but as time went on, there were a lot less surprises. Challenges still kind of come and go. With higher education during this time of kind of the time of the year, but then also just sort of where we are as a country in terms of like higher education and where things are going financially and things like that. This is just a tough time for small private colleges in rural areas. So there's not a college out there that's the size of Union that's not sort of rethinking and reimagining how they operate and where they want to go and where they're taking things. And so that sort of became the norm starting in the fall. I think wanting to just get our community involved as quickly and as often as possible was sort of one of our strategic responsibilities. Before I started the role as interim, I even reached out to a lot of our staff and a lot of our alumni just to kind of get some feedback as to what would make Union, a greater place to be from their eyes and from their perspective, which was really good to just kind of gather that really sensitive information that helps one move on. But wins, I mean, there were a ton, right? Homecoming, I thought just being able to actually block out the parking lot area and to be able to do sort of a true official tailgate for the first time, and seeing alumni and parents and friends enjoy that experience was really cool. Offering town halls that we offered in the fall and the spring just offered a sense of transparency that I think was sort of missing between our relationship with our alumni and our trustees and even with our community. And so those are all things that just kind of stand out to me. I know here recently we did UCU Street Eats. That was a really good kind of kickoff with food truck experience, and again involved more than just our students, but also our staff and faculty. Allowed us to show them that we appreciate, and also allowed us to welcome the community back onto the campus. So Seeing a lot of folks on campus now, whether they're coming to our dining halls to have lunch, or some of the local high school students that are here taking pictures on the weekend for prom or graduation ceremonies. That's been really great to see too. So I think it's been a fun, exciting, and busy year, but it's been a great opportunity for Union to just stand out, to say the least.
Yeah, and I think there's a different feel on campus. There's kind of a renewed energy. You feel that with the students when they're here. So now that hopefully, not that there won't ever be surprises, but we talked about some surprises early on. What is your vision for the future of Union Commonwealth University?
Yeah, the future is bright. The future is bold. The future is very positive, and I'm really optimistic. And I even sort of underestimated how great this place can be going forward. I knew it's an awesome place, and I knew we can do great things together. But now being here and having some of the external conversations that we're having for fundraising, for grant development, and for academic innovation with our programs, we have so much good opportunity. But vision-wise, I think we will begin to continue to see Union uniting for the common good, partnering with community partners, with other four-year institutions who maybe offer something different than what we offer academically. I think seeing us partner with more opportunities toward like micro credentials and leadership development and things like that are a little bit outside sort of our liberal arts scope, but it really truly impacts the mission of helping first-gen students just like myself and students in Appalachia and contributing to workforce development. So I think the future is really bright to see Union take off and partner with schools like EKU and UK. And I just spoke with Moorhead last week about their space exploration program and getting some of our students, up and through their engineering track. So I think there's some really good opportunity for us to partner with our higher ed leaders as well.
So throughout the day so far, we've chatted with Megan and Sarah about grants and just a lot of the things that are running here through your office. We've also spoke with Dr. Josh Wilkie about academic innovation and program innovation. You talked about challenges in higher ed for institutions in a rural setting. How do we move through that? How do we adapt? How do you see that?
Yeah. Well, one, just really having authentic and transparent conversations with folks, right? I was told that Union can't fundraise and Union can't bring in any dollars, and thanks to you and your team, I mean, we're crushing our goals. We're really high up on the percentage routes of closely 99% or so, close to our goal for our annual fund, and we still have several months, a couple months to go. And, there's been already some, really large gifts made and contributed to the institution. One being the historic gift, which is the largest in the history of our campus. And so I think for me, that's been, like the biggest sort of like, wow, Union really can do big things on a larger scale. So I'm really excited just to kind of see, where that goes in the future.
Absolutely. So why is Dear Old Union Day important to you?
Yeah, well, this is a good question because I think about this from a couple different perspectives. One, being a student, being a student athlete, being an alum, and then also finally being a trustee for a few years before, taking on this role. And so I've seen the impact that our alumni and our community can make on a single student each and every day, just by giving, even in a small way, right? So it doesn't always have to be, it could be a $10 gift, it could be a $100 gift, it could be a $1,000 gift, it could be a $10,000 gift. Even if it's not the latter and it's more of the former, every gift matters.
It really does.
Yeah, especially at a small school like Union. So to see it directly, and we really do directly, contribute this and put this toward operations and student funding and student need, and it's just really cool to see how much one day can make a difference in student lives.
Yeah, and one thing, when I spoke to our graduates last week at commencement practice, it was kind of making them understand, we know you go into financial aid and sign those award letters, but do you know where this money comes? And, really educating them about how their education was made possible by a donor, and keep getting them in the right mind frame to pay it forward in the future. So what would you say to somebody that's considering making a gift today?
Do it now.
Yeah.
Like, go right away. Don't even think about it. Don't hesitate. If you're thinking about it and considering it, just think about the opportunity that you have to just impact, a single student or a group of students. There are so many different ways that you can give, not only to a program, but it could also be a department or a club organization, or perhaps even an athletic team, or a lot of our alumni, because they're generous and they're also thoughtful, they're servant. They give in the honor of others. And so even being able to just place a small gift and say it's in honor of someone that you went to school with, or your favorite professor, or your favorite program, that can make a difference and does a lot of good as well.
Yeah. Well, last question that I have for you is, I guess when we think of the last year, what are you most proud of?
I think, a few things. One certainly is, and I mention it, time and time again, is having our community come together. We've been through, some choppy waters before in the past, and some of the things that I heard was like, oh man, it's going to take years and years and years. But I think that's just a testament to who we are as colleagues, but then also who our community is, and how well they've responded to rebuilding and rekindling that relationship with Union. And so that's been a huge, totally proud of that. Then the other is just hardworking colleagues like yourself, and being able to see that our culture over the last 9 or 10 months has truly changed, and our attitudes have changed, and people can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We can see possibility is near, and the future is bright. And so I think just having really strong colleagues, many of which were here when I was a student on campus, and now to see them still just as energized as they were back then, to really put Bulldogs back on the table and at the top of the map for the most part, it's really exciting to see. So that hard work, that determination, dedication, it really transcends across our campus, and that's really fun to see and also be a part of.
Yeah, we got some good stuff coming.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, if you have already made a gift today here on Dear Old Union Day, we're incredibly grateful for your generosity. If you haven't had that opportunity yet, you can do so at www.unionky.edu/dearold.